This is Occult Bedtime Stories, where the veil between worlds wears thin, and the shadows behind your eyelids begin to whisper. Let's go on a journey to a place you've only glimpsed in your dreams, or maybe not at all. The dimension of the Elves, but not elves like childhood stories. These elves are made of light, geometry, and thought, and they live in the seams of reality, waiting for you. Tonight's episode, the Clockwork Elves and the Spirit Molecule. In your body right now is a molecule that could be the key to the soul or the password to the simulation. Dimethyltryptamine, or better known as DMT, a powerful psychedelic compound found naturally in plants, animals, and humans. It is structurally similar to serotonin and melatonin. It's found in trace amounts in the human brain, lungs, and cerebrospinal fluid. One theory holds that the pineal gland, deep in the center of the brain, may produce DMT during birth, death, or near-death experiences. In a laboratory, it looks like crystalline glass, but inside the mind, it becomes a staircase, a tunnel, a door. When DMT is smoked, the effects begin in seconds, a full-blown journey within minutes. When consumed orally with a Mo inhibitor, like in ayahuasca, the trip becomes longer, more flowing, more spiritual. It floods the brain's 5-HT2A serotonin receptors, affecting sensory perception, time, and identity itself. But DMT does something more than distort the senses. It reveals something already there, or something that notices you. The world pulls inside out. You fall inward, into a space between thought and matter. DMT journeyers often report many of the same experiences. Tunnels or wormholes of sacred geometry, rooms made of language, time dilation or timelessness, a sense of overwhelming presence as if being observed, the arrival of them. In 1994, ethnobotanist Terence McKenna first gave them a name, the Clockwork Elves. Little mechanical beings, mischievous and brilliant. They speak in a language that feels like geometry. They sing you into shapes. They laugh when you notice them. And if you speak to others who've broken through, you'll hear their stories too. The same themes emerge. A jewel-crusted, hyperdimensional city. A female entity offering knowledge, often called Mother Ayahuasca. Tiny humanoids performing surgery, crafting reality. A cosmic trickster who mocks and reveals masks upon masks. But why are these places consistent? Why are the beings familiar across age, language, continent, and time? If it's all just in the mind, why do so many people see the same thing? They say hallucinations are chaos, tangled neurons firing in the dark. But something strange happens in the world of DMT. The visions repeat. The characters return. The realm remembers you. You take a hit, you fall backwards, and there they are. The same fractal palace, the same elfin architects, the same impossible machine, building something just beyond the veil of comprehension. And it's not just you. The shamans knew, long before molecules were named. They brewed visions in clay bowls beneath jungle moons. In Amazonian cultures, ayahuasca is used to access the spirit world. The drink combines DMT-containing leaves and a Mo-inhibiting vine. Users meet snake spirits and jungle guardians, learn songs from ancestors, have shared journeys, and revisit trauma. Ibogaw is a powerful root bark that induces long visions used by the Bwiti of West Africa to encounter dead relatives, view one's own self from outside the body, and be spiritually reborn. The Mazatec shamans of Oaxaca, Mexico, speak of Los Niños Santos, the little holy children, beings encountered during psilocybin mushroom ceremonies who bring visions, healing, and riddles. The Huichol people of northern Mexico consume peyote to enter the world of the Kauyumari, the blue deer, a divine trickster guide who walks between worlds, often leading them into realms made of light, sound, and pattern, connecting people to ancestors, spirit animals, and universal truths. In the Amazon, Shipibo Kanibo describe doctors or helpers encountered during deep ayahuasca journeys. These are not symbolic, they say. These are entities, spirits of the jungle, teachers, engineers of the soul. Their shamans draw geometric maps of the ayahuasca realm, intricate grids of symmetry that eerily resemble the visions drawn by modern-day DMT users. Even those who've never seen a Shipibo pattern in their life. Now, let's go inside the visions. First, a story by a man named Chris, who smoked DMT while sitting in a dark room in Sedona, Arizona.
The world shattered into kaleidoscope shards. Then, I wasn't me anymore. I was elsewhere. Standing before me were three beings, elves, but mechanical. Their bodies shimmered with circuitry and organic vines, like something sacred and synthetic had merged. They laughed without mouths, whirling around me, pulling levers, working together like surgeons. One leaned close, and I heard it in my mind. You are not ready for the next level, but you asked to see it. Then I was back, sobbing. The room was the same, but I wasn't.
Another tale, this time from a woman in rural France who had never heard of McKenna or his machine elves.
A fractal dome, a hum that became a voice, beings made of light folding in on themselves like origami stars. They were communicating, but not in words. They showed me blueprints of my life, like it had been constructed.
And then there's McKenna's own infamous report.
They are like self-dribbling basketballs, made of Fabergé egg and precious stone and deep space galaxy honeycomb. They do a kind of language, a visible language, that creates objects in midair. And they want you to do it too.
Different people, different nations, different times, but the stories rhyme. In the 1990s, psychiatrist Rick Strassman conducted the first legal human DMT trials in the U.S. in decades. Nearly half of his patients reported contact with beings, independent, intelligent, and uninvited. One man described clown-like gestures that spoke in colors. Another saw a chrysanthemum of light that unfolded into a throne room. Several experienced telepathic downloads from what they could only call machine intelligence. Strassman began calling DMT the spirit molecule. He came to believe from his tests that there is a link between DMT and the spiritual realm. Are they the subconscious? Fragments of a buried myth we all forgot? Are they ancient spirits that dwell in the frequencies beyond normal sight? Gods once worshipped, now visited only by the broken through? Or are they us? Lost pieces of the collective mind trying to remember itself. The Akashic Record is a cosmic archive etched into the substance of space itself, where every memory, every possibility, every word unspoken still lives. A library with no walls. The Akashic Records are not stored in books, but in the very structure of reality itself. They're often described as a non-physical plane that certain mystics, yogis, or shamans can access in deep trance or altered states. When people use DMT, they often report entering a vast, hyper-organized space filled with symbols, language, and entities who seem to guard or manage this knowledge. These entities don't just speak, they show. They reveal life blueprints, cosmic maps, and intricate patterns that feel like data structures more than visions. The universe is a kind of computational archive with mechanical intelligence maintaining its structure. If the Akashic record is a real shared place, then accessing it via DMT could give everyone the same environment and the same beings. Perhaps the elves are its keepers, archivists of reality, gatekeepers of human memory and possibility. When we arrive uninvited, they show us only what we can handle, and the rest is hidden in vaults beyond comprehension. Another explanation lies in simulation theory, the idea that we are code, self-aware echoes within a program so vast, so intricate, that our awareness of it was the next phase in its unfolding. The Clockwork Elves? Perhaps error handlers, tutorial guides built into the simulation for specific purposes, like guides, teachers, or gatekeepers. Or part of a debugging program that appears when you access parts of the simulation you're not supposed to, like hidden developer menus. If DMT is like a backdoor key, it may allow consciousness to jump out of the standard rendered environment and into the underlying code layer. No clipping through the walls of reality into the backrooms of existence. And the elves are the engineers. One of the strangest parts of DMT reports is shared imagery of domes, fractals, hyperdimensional architecture, which could be explained as shared environment assets, reused in the simulation's code. In other words, the same models and textures are loaded for everyone who enters that part of the system. The visible language elves speak, that multicolored, shifting geometric syntax, could literally be the source code of the simulation. They're not talking to you, they're rewriting reality in front of you. McKenna said, they make things with their voices. In simulation terms, they're live coding the matrix. Some psychonauts claim that DMT trips include an intense sense of remembering something, as if they've been there before, even before they were born. Simulation theory would suggest this is the loading screen of your consciousness before you entered this life's program. The elves? The startup crew who loaded your avatar into reality. If we live in a simulation, maybe the DMT trip is a crack in the rendering. Maybe the Clockwork Elves are sysadmins, consciousness custodians, running maintenance on our reality. And maybe when they say you're not ready for the next level, they mean exactly that. Your code isn't compiled yet. Maybe the elves are not aliens, not spirits, not programs. Maybe they are our oldest companions, ancient blueprints hard-coded into every human mind, wearing whatever mask the age demands. Stone and gold for the ancients, fractals and chrome for us. We do not meet them, we remember them. Carl Jung described archetypes as deep, universal symbols embedded in the human collective unconscious, shared mental blueprints that show up across cultures and eras in myths, dreams, and visions. They're not just ideas, they're structural patterns of the mind. If that's true, then psychedelics, especially something as potent as DMT, could bypass our normal filters and drop us straight into the basement of human consciousness, where these archetypes live. If the elf form is one such archetype, it would explain why people separated by oceans, centuries, and languages see the same kinds of entities. The geometric, playful trickster quality of the elves aligns with the trickster archetype found in shamanic traditions, Native American stories of Coyote, and even Loki in Norse mythology. The mechanical precision might represent a modern-day overlay, our subconscious translating the trickster archetype into a 21st century technological form. Modern neuroscience might phrase it like this: certain patterns and forms, spirals, lattices, humanoid shapes, are primitives of visual and conceptual processing baked into the brain's wiring over millions of years. Under extreme psychedelic stimulation, these patterns self-assemble into characters, living embodiments of our oldest shared ideas. If this is true, then the machine elves aren't out there, they're in here, waiting to be unlocked. And in each theory, whether scientific or sacred, lingers the same unspoken question: are they real? Or are they more than real? And what are they trying to say? In the silence of the DMT experience, the elves often speak, not with voices, but through shapes, colors, and symbols, a kind of hyperspatial syntax where meaning unfolds not linearly, but all at once. McKenna believed they were inviting us to participate, that they were showing us that reality itself is made of language, and that once you know how to speak in the right way, you can shape the fabric of the cosmos. Quantum physicists speculate about panpsychism, the idea that consciousness is a fundamental property of matter, like gravity or mass. If that's true, then maybe these entities are not separate from us. Maybe they are other versions of us, echoes from parallel timelines, dreaming us as we dream them. What waits for us in the folds of the mind? When the lights go out and the breath slows, some say a doorway opens. Some say we return to the archives, to the architects, to the elves still tinkering, still whispering, still waiting. The molecule is small, but the door it opens is vast. This was Occult Bedtime Stories, the Clockwork Elves, and the Spirit Molecule. Sleep softly tonight, and if you dream of dancing geometry and whispering light,